It's in the month of May when the lambs skip and play and the little birds are singing all along. Yes, there I met a maid and it's to her I said, let's wind up for a little ball of yarn. Yes, no, concern, you're a stranger to me. Perhaps you have some other charm. I'd better go with those who have money and fine clothes.
All right, let's see here. We got this thing going, I hope. Never know. Okay, looks like the microphone's working. Listen, I'm not going to wait around for people who may or may not show up. They can catch up if they're interested. But I want to talk about the Afghan refugees that come in, because there's a lot of it that we do not understand. We have close to 20,000, the last information I had, and they're scattered out among the states. They were housed in at military installations here. Now, whether or not that's still germane, I don't know. But what's going to be the impact on all of us? That's a huge number of refugees that have to be assimilated into our society. And so how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? We've got to house them and feed them, make sure that they have everything that they need, right? Now, I've been going over some of these issues. I've been looking them up online. Maybe you have too. But some of the temporary housing that has been suggested, and it might be in place now, is that Airbnb are going to do a lot of this housing, temporarily housing, because they can't do long term. But they say they're going to stay at it until everybody is taken care of. But 20,000 people. Now, some of these Afghans are over in Europe. I think 39,000, something like that, are over there waiting to come this way. So it's going to be a huge burden on our tax system. Now, don't forget, we've got everybody down in south of the border, okay? We haven't dealt with them, and that's been going on for years. So I don't know how they're actually going to care for all these people. It's a huge, huge issue. Now, I have read where the government, we're going to try to get them housing, get them medical care, monetary assistance, things like that. But when you're talking, probably 50,000 refugees to take care of, that is not going to be easy. But as I was saying, at the Airbnb, and here's a little quote from them. It says, while we are only providing temporary, not permanent housing, we are committed to housing these families for as long as they need. So that is going to be some task to do that. And they've also been working with 165. Well, they've worked with partners to place 165 so far of these Afghan refugees. So it's a slow process, slow process. And I'm compassionate. I say this often. I'm as compassionate as the next person, And those folks over there in Afghanistan who could be victimized and mistreated by the Taliban, ISIS, Al Qaeda, that's just sad. But we only have so much as far as resources go. Okay, when it comes to spending money, I'm going to drink a little water too because I don't have the throat that some of you have. But it's going to take money. If you watch the news, they want us to extend the debt, and it's been talked that if they don't do that, then they're going to run out of money, which we've heard before, right? So, come October, I think it's at the end of October. It might be at the first, but anyway, in October, we could run out of money. So how are we going to handle all these refugees? Well, where's the money going to come from? So this is something that they're going to have to get a handle on real quick. I'm not for raising the debt. It just digs us deeper and deeper into the hole. That's my thought. And it just talks about Walmart. They're donating, I think, $1 million to some humanitarian efforts, to take care of these people. But it's going to take more than $1 million. It's going to take more than what Airbnb can do. But this is going to be a long-term situation. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy. I read through these, and it says the Biden administration plans to resettle tens of thousands of Afghan refugees, and it is facing a formidable operational and legal challenges to this, with issues ranging from the uncertain immigration status of many evacuees to limited social resources and permanent housing for the new arrivals. I hope you're following along on this, because think about the homeless that we have. You go to California, there's homeless all over the place. And there's probably in all of the big cities homeless. They have no place to live. But now we're going to make an extraordinary effort to house Afghan refugees. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Our priorities are not in the right place. Now, like I said, I'm compassionate. I don't want Afghan people to be butchered under the Taliban. I don't want that. But we should have had a better organized departure than what we had. And so maybe we could have fit these refugees in smaller groups, instead of this big bunch at one time. Yeah. Now, I was getting a lot of this off of CBS, so don't blame it on Fox News. But they were talking about thousands of at-risk Afghans are arriving in the U.S. without approved visas, placing them in a legal limbo, rendering them ineligible for some federal social programs available to those admitted as refugees, including cash. Yes, including cash assistance and Medicaid. I don't know where we're going to get that money. I hope somebody knows, because it's going to be extremely tough to get that money. The sharp increase in admissions of Afghan evacuees over the past few days has also strained the resources of the 9 national U.S. refugee resettlement agencies, prompting them to house some refugees in hotels and Airbnb rentals, while affordable apartments are found. Okay? It's going to cost money to put them up in the hotel, unless the hotel is just so damn generous that they're going to say, oh yeah, we'll take, 15 or 20, no cost. That's not happening. They're not going to lose money. They're there to make a profit. Yeah, man, I tell you. And references go on to talk about the Vietnam era back in 1975, when tens of thousands of refugees were testing the government's refugee resettlement system, straining it back in 1975. And now they talk about, the Afghans are traumatized population that is coming from a crazy, chaotic evacuation system. Now this talk is from one of these resettlement agencies, okay? Traumatized. They throw those words out there. They're going to be traumatized when they get here, because their culture is a lot different from ours. We don't have the same culture that they have. There's a lot of things that they do there that they cannot do here. So that's going to be pretty tough. I was reading somewhere where some of the refugees had been engaged in this child marriage stuff. Okay, so that's a no-no here, unless Biden's administration says it's okay. He might. The man's about as flaky as they come. So it could be. He could say, oh yeah, that's no problem. But some U.S. citizen here do that, and it wouldn't pan out too well. Some of the Mormons found out, that they got themselves in trouble for having too many wives and young women, young girls, stuff like that. So it's just a big problem. Okay, it's a big problem. I've got lots of stuff to read, and maybe I didn't go at this quite right, but it's so important to me, and I hope it's important to you and others, that you check into this, that you look into this, because it is going to cost huge sums of money. There's other articles in here. To address these exclusions that the State Department is launching an Afghan parolee support program, which will help Afghan parolees with housing, transportation, food, cash, clothing, legal counsel, and other services, according to multiple resettlement officials involved in the effort. Okay? That's a whole lot of things to do, and they're not free. So, I see something down here where it says, resettlement agencies are expected to receive $2,275 for each Afghan parolee that they serve. Okay? So if you've got a family of 3, 4, 5 that this agency is serving, right off the bat, that's a pretty good sum of money I'd like to have. Maybe they can resettle me. You know? Yeah. Now they do have to have some requirements. They have to, well, they're going to have to get their shots for polio and other diseases. They have to do that, okay? So I guess that's good. You know, that's good. Then they're going to have to do that. Now, some of these people who may not meet the criteria of those visas, those, and it says here, those who were persecuted in Afghanistan or who fear persecution, if returned, there could potentially meet the legal threshold of asylum. But their cases could take years to be adjudicated, given a backlog of 403,000 pending applications before the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. You know, this is a fiasco. This is terrible. It is absolutely terrible. But this is something that the Biden administration created. And I would not deny that Trump, Obama, Bush are all responsible in some degree for the cost that we're going to have to pay for all of this resettlement. It is not going to be cheap. Yep, it's not going to be cheap. And it goes on down here. It says Afghan evacuees are being required to receive vaccines against measles, mumps, rubella, polio, and the coronavirus within 7 days of being granted parole. That's let out, I guess, according to the Department of Homeland Security, within 7 days. So they're going to have to do something. Yeah, I tell you, I wish my fingers don't work as good as they used to, you know. I'm trying to separate these pages here. A little bit hard. A little bit hard. And they'll have to go on the second page here. They have to go through and be tested for tuberculosis also. If they fail to comply with the requirements, which also includes notifying the U.S. authorities of address changes and providing them with requested information, Afghans could be stripped of their parole and subjected to detention and removal. Okay, so there's things that could happen to them if they don't meet the requirements. That's good too. Yep, that's good too. There's folks that are coming across the southern border, they don't have to do that. Do you get the understanding here how screwed up this stuff is? I mean, why we got ourselves into this mess and how we got ourselves into this mess. You know, it is just something ridiculous. Going through and reading this stuff, and I tell you, I encourage every one of you. You truck drivers out there think you're home free? You're not. No. Nope. Because what do you think's going to happen once these refugees clear and they're out of the system? Now the government's supposed to be helping them find jobs. Okay, they're supposed to be getting some assistance. What industry do you know It's always short-handed because people get tired and quit, get upset. You know, people like me, okay? People just like me. I got upset. I said, I am not doing this. I'm tired of going to the goddamn East Coast. If you can't send me out west more, I'm out of here. And that's exactly why I got out of it. I was tired of dragging my huevos east of the Mississippi River. You know, send me west. That's where I like to go. Anywhere west is fine with me, but man, I hated that East Coast. And these companies, now I've driven for a number of companies, you know, and they had the little honeymoon thing, you know, thing goes good. Oh man, I can't believe I got this job, da 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 da. And then several months into the thing, you're not getting the same kind of good runs you were getting before because they've got new drivers that are coming in, and they need to kiss up on them, you know, and give them the good stuff, right? So, I don't know why other people quit, but I know, for me, basically it was that. I had it with going east. Not my cup of tea, as they say. But anyway, one of these guys said that if you get like 80 people a day, your chances of securing apartments for that many people are probably not very large. He said, and this guy was the vice president of the Church World Service. No kidding, Dick Tracy. If people are having problems now finding housing, okay, adequate housing, now you got all these other people. They're going to put them up in housing in Connecticut, back east where the cost is sky high. Is that what they're going to do? Well, you're talking about running through some money. You want to go through some tax dollars? There's good folks back in Connecticut and Vermont and New Hampshire and Rhode Island and all of those places. Yeah, they are. Hell yeah, send me about 2,000 of them suckers there. I've got some property I'll fix up, you know. Some old dilapidated building, they'll go in and say, you know, we'll house them right here. Cost you and I an arm and a leg in tax dollars to do that. Because you know it's coming. You know it's going to be there. Several months down the road, there's going to be maybe some investigation, some newspaper outlet, maybe Geraldo Rivera will do a investigative report, find these Afghans housed in beat up old sheds or something, you know, and the government paying big time money to the landlord. Oh yeah, it's going to happen. Now if you think, so I got this, you know, I'm sorry I don't have it memorized, you know, but that's a lot to memorize, okay? A lot to memorize. One of the things they talk about is that the State Department is consulting with Congress on the eligibility of the Afghans for federal benefits, including Medicaid, the official said, okay? Humanitarian parolees will be eligible for federally funded health insurance, well, at least through September, but it'll probably be extended, you know. All kinds of good stuff. Yeah, we're going to take care of that. Again, I don't begrudge them getting out of Afghanistan and getting here. I'm saying we were ill prepared for the large numbers, especially when we're having problems as it is, okay? We got all those illegal immigrants down there in Del Rio, Texas, underneath the bridge down there, you know, living in little shabby looking lean-tos and tents and stuff like that, right? It is something else. Yeah, there was a briefing with senior U.S. government officials on, and I liked what they do. Everything the government does has a name for it. So, let's see, what do they call this in here? Officials on Operation Allies Welcome Relocation Assistance Effort for non-SIV holders. You got to have a name. If you don't have a name, nothing is going to get done. Nothing's going to happen. Yep. Now I don't see. Oh, well, I see. Looks like we got a couple of people out here. That's good. Yep. Because this is important. It is extremely important. You get out there and you drive your truck. You get a flat tire. That's a major deal. But it's not nearly as major as housing and feeding and clothing and paying money to tens of thousands of Afghan refugees, during this time when we are struggling ourselves. We should have done it better. We should have done it better. Yep. Listen, I'm telling you, there's already I'm trying to look through here because I have it. Okay, oh, here we go. Here we go. This is going to interest you working people out there. Apparently there's a Texas medical technology firm, a medical equipment manufacturing in Houston, Texas, this week said it had hired 5 of the 100 Afghans the company plans to engage for a variety of positions, including in textiles and engineering over the next 12 months. So they're going to hire 100. I wonder what those good people in Houston who are holding out, not going back to work, are thinking. Yeah, I'll just stay out, get my money, and then I'll go back. They may be SOL, because this guy is not going to be the only one. He goes on to say, the demand is there. Oh, here's his name, Sean Raybar, co-owner of the company. We need the workers, so we are open arms to refugees. All right? Open arms to refugees. You can't fault the refugees. You cannot fault the Afghan people who come here. They want to get a job, assimilate in. Hopefully they will. So if they take your job, that's your problem. You should have done something. You should have been back to work. Okay? Now back in Obama's era, Obama raised the limit of refugees that could come in. Okay? When Trump came into office, he cut back on a lot of that. Okay? Now we have Biden out here, Sleepy Joe Biden. He doesn't know what's going on. He's raising it again. Yep. It's just amazing that we have this kind of stupidity running around. And it's my fault, your fault, our neighbor's fault, because we voted for these suckers. We either voted for them, or we didn't make a big enough stink to get other people to not vote for them. Yep, I tell you. The cost of this resettlement is going to be staggering. And truck drivers, you're not home free. You're not home free. Do you think that the people who run companies like Prime and JB Hunt and USA Truck and PTL and Swift and all of these big mega carriers, right? You know they're thinking, they're saying, okay, can we use some of these refugees? Sure, they're thinking that. Why wouldn't they think that? What does it take? The requirements are what? That you be able to read, speak, understand the English language, read the sign, know what it means. If it says stop, you stop. If it says yield, you yield. You know. Okay. There's going to be many of those refugees who will speak English. They may not be professionals, but they're going to be looking for work. And that truck driving job is going to sound pretty darn good. Okay? And they'll be highly motivated. They will go to school. They'll learn to drive the truck. They'll get trained in classes on English, how to read the document. They will get all of that. Now, I got to move my old bones around here. They're going to get all of that. To me, it's just funnier than shit. Because remember back a couple of weeks ago, those people were going to go on strike. Yeah, they're going to go on strike. I don't think this would be a good time to go on strike. Because there'll be refugees out there. As soon as you step out of that truck and hand that key in, they're going to get that key, go hop in that truck, and down the road. Yep, it doesn't take that much to drive a truck. I hate to tell you this. You know, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar, you know, college graduate to drive a truck. All right? So it just takes a little training, and they can be out there running up and down the road. And as I said, they're going to be highly motivated. Okay? They're going to want to work. Okay? They don't care how tough it is. They're going to... Is it as tough as being in Afghanistan? You know? Come on. Well, listen, I tell you, I don't want to go on and on and on and on about this stuff here. But I think you can pretty much trust this face to give you the right scoop. If you have a truck driving job, you better get good at it, because there's going to be people out there that'll take that job when you jump out, and they're going to be glad to have it. And those people who are sitting around the house saying, well, I won't go back to work yet, I still have some unemployment money. Yeah, they may find themselves permanently unemployed on that unemployment line and no money coming in. Okay, listen, I'm going to jump out of here. I don't know how many people watch this thing, but if you run across it and you're not a subscriber, do that. Hit the like button, hit the bell, do all of those kind of magical things if you don't mind. I'm going to work at this. It's going to take me a long time, but I'm persistent. Got nothing else to do. All right, folks, if you drive a truck, be safe out on the highway, make lots of that money, get home to your family and friends and spend it, because as I said before, Joe Biden is going to take it in taxes. All right, let's see if I can jump out of here.